the vibrations of the nations. I just want to express my soul to you. Earth angels in the groove. It makes me feel some kind of ecstasy. There's an evolving electricity. It makes my heart go pop, 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 pop. Like a warm sensation, so hot, 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 hot. There's the joy, baby. We gotta do what we gotta do. Just know that we are here for you. Path to freedom. Hi everybody, my name's Harriet, aka I Am Godself, and I am going to be performing at the SoundPath To Freedom festival. And I'm so excited to share with you my soul's song. I'm going to be performing a song called Freedom. Yes, indeed. Inspirationally, my inspiration musically is the likes of Aretha Franklin, Jocelyn Brown, you know, the soulful disco, funk, the truth. From being young, I was exposed to the origins of house music and where that really began, and I've always been magnetized to the soulful truth that permeates throughout all of that. So I'll see you guys there.
Bonjour world! I have a special guest with us today, Harriet Boldison, aka Godself, who's featured artist in our SoundPath To Freedom music festival. A lovely lady with high spiritual, holistic intelligence and lyrical skills to match, and kind of reminds me of a character like Tom Bombadil in the female version of being able to just like sing the sounds of creation and that kind of stuff. And you have such a beautiful, radiant voice. And yeah, Harriet, I'm so glad and honored to chat with you and for you to be a part of our music event. So yeah, how you doing over there in the UK?
Thank you, Derek. I appreciate that. I'm doing really well. And yeah, I love that introduction. That is beautiful. So thank you so much. I'm grateful to be here. And when it comes to truth and freedom, oh my goodness, yeah, that's what I'm about. So I'm very grateful to be a part of the SoundPath To Freedom Festival as well.
Awesome, Harriet. Yeah, and you're gonna bring up a special announcement of what you got going on, which isn't music related, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, I just want to give a shout out to Maria West, who says hello, by the way, because if it wasn't for her, I don't think we would have met at least a year or two ago, whenever. Because yeah, you're not the first. I've had such a cool conscious connection with through her and mutual friends and that kind of stuff, and so. Yeah, and she's another great musician who will be in this music festival as well. And
yes, absolutely love Maria. She's a wonderful, inspirational, divine feminine who is she's also a life path one, which I am as well, which is really cool. And I've learned a lot from Maria and what she shares with the world, definitely.
Cheers. Yeah, that reminds me. I forgot to mention that you are quite the epistemologist and numerologist quite a bit. So,
yeah. I think it's interesting, Derek, how you said about how my announcement is not to do with music, because I actually write in I'm announcing in my first book that I'm releasing. And I actually write about how we are music, that is what we are. I truly believe it. And, we have a song, you think about it, we are energy, we are frequency. Yeah. And so frequency is music as well, right? And the numbers allow us to really just have that unique sort of musical sound as well. So yeah, so it's infinite in the way that we can really explain this. But I truly believe that we are music, definitely. And I'd like to announce, so I'm sharing my first book, which is called The Cosmic Curriculum, and it will be available on a week today, and that's going to be on the 16th. And yeah, it's just, everything is a song to me, and everything is music that we're doing, and the same with art as well. I truly believe that it's just an infusion of everything of God, consciousness. It's the root of who we are. So, and music has to flow, it needs to flow, doesn't it? It needs to feel good and stimulate. So the Cosmic Curriculum Volume 1 is an introductory educative exploration of education in the infinite realms of knowledge of self, which with application leads to freedom. It is 8 years worth of self-discovery and channeled truths compressed into a blueprint for all children of God, whatever their circumstance may be, wherever they are in their path. This is a blueprint for them, every single path, to support them, to serve them in developing, in learning, and exploring the knowledge of self and the laws that govern all. Freedom is guaranteed with application and inner standing, as true freedom is in knowing thyself. So the most important education that we must commit to is knowledge of self and the laws of nature that permeate everything in existence. It is an exploration of the infinite potential, this book, of what we all have, and a revealing of each of our uniqueness, our psychic selves, and the growth of our souls, and mastery of all that we are. This book is created to serve all paths. Yeah, would you like me to share about my journey of how it began?
Of course, yeah, please.
The whole book situation. So before 2017, I had I had addictions. So I had addictions, and like it was a normal thing, I would get up and do this certain thing and just like get on, and and I wasn't essentially loving myself for various reasons, going back to the family nucleus, the womb, and how we navigate in reality before we fully awaken. Anyway, so I had a spiritual mentor that was helping me at the time, guiding me as I was, I always believed that there was something. I always used to say to my friends at parties, like, oh, believe in the universe. We really should believe in the universe. There's something beyond this, even when I was high and just like at these raves for days and all this stuff. I was like the shrink at the party. Right, and people used to laugh and joke like, oh yeah, Harriet, yeah, like believe in the universe, yeah, and then eventually out of my group of friends, I went on this path alone. I had to sort of let go of those groups of people that I was around in the music industry, in the music scene or the club scene and the rave scene. And it took multiple times to really let these people go, because they would try and come back and try and try and come and meditate and do the things that I was doing to help myself grow, to choose love ultimately. But yeah, I knew that I had to protect my energy and I had to respect God fully and just really just allow my energy to be nourished. So my spiritual mentor at the time, he said to me, right, Harriet, you need to do a 7-day raw vegan challenge. And that is what I did. And then I just completely shifted, awakened to the interconnectedness of everything in existence. Like, it was intense. I remember just sat on the edge of my bed on the 7th day, and I could literally see visions of every single thing connected in existence. Like, I just couldn't put words to it. It was just a vision, you know? And then I was like, why am I here? You know, as I was like, right, this is it. I'm clear. I know what's my purpose, you know? So I was started writing down and who am I really? Who am I at the most original essence, like the deepest aspects of who I am? Who is that, you know? Because when I find that out, I know this will reveal to me why I'm here. So I was writing and I was channeling, you know, I began channeling, and it was coming out. It would come out in song, and all the words would rhyme, just like how you express yourself as well. And then the joy and laughter from that would raise my frequency so much, and I would just express so much creative, but just like creative energy, but it all just made sense, you know, and it was like teaching me at the same time. And it was like the consciousness, that's what it is. It's consciousness. That's who I am. Because when I started writing down the numbers and looking into my name, my date of birth, my life path, like, you know, and I was guided to do this in the way in which I did it, and just add them all together, you know, and see what and how that interconnects with the planets and the energies that the planets provide, and how the planets affect us, and how ultimately it's all inside. And it was just coming out so fast, you know. So anyway, I was on that path then. I was on the path of, you know, self-mastery ultimately, and just really became obsessed with self-development and just wanting more of this information. And I realized that if I did go back to more dense living and choices and, you know, like foods and just the old self, as it were, the channel wasn't really channeling, you know, as much as it can, as pure and as efficient as it can. And I felt like, right, okay, so I know what I need to do to really enhance my bond with God here, the Most High Source Energy Life Force, which is the guidance, which is where God's self comes in, guiding our direction, Source Energy Life Force, giving thanks to KRS-One, who, you know, and Minister Zinaru, of course, because he was the one that called me that. God's elf, he pronounced it. But yeah, so I was on that path, and I was living my life, and, you know, I was doing raw cakes because I suffered with eating disorders for years, like from being a teenager. And then when I became so obsessed with what we should be eating, you know, and how I can really have my cake and eat it, but serve God at the same time, and for others to be able to do that as well. That's why I thought, oh, this is my purpose. At first I was like, this is what I've got to do. I've got to make raw, plant-based, gourmet, medicinal cakes, you know, which is art as well, and it serves our health. So I was doing that for a bit. And then I realized that, well, I'm singing as well, but I'm a communicator. So 5 is my psychic energy, and 1 is my life path number. So I've got to pioneer in these different things, you know, and lead in certain areas. So it was just really making sense of all the aspects and gifts that I have within me. I made metaphysical jewelry. I've done that, you know, and that was fantastic. I love doing that so much. the reason why I began doing that is because I wanted to protect my family. You know, I began making orgonite because I was receiving downloads about the 5G and all of that. And I was like, right, this is it. I need to look and study how to make orgonite. So I did, and then I got everything. And that was when my granddad was still here. And yeah, so my kids were going to public school during this time, and I knew I didn't like it. I didn't like it. It didn't align, the timings of it, 9 till 3. You know, there's something about that really does get you separate the families. You know, it's like when you get up, you rush in. It's just all, obviously, as we know, it's all set up in a strategic way that goes against nature, right? So I knew I had to learn so much to get to a point of having that, having the information that I needed to homeschool my children. And so I was on that mission for some time, and eventually the COVID situation began. And I was like, this is perfect. You know, a lot of people around me was just like, oh my God, there's a pandemic, and they were all like, you know, panicking and stuff. And I was just like, yes. You know, I was so happy that it was a time that I could actually create freedom for me and my children. And, you know, just life just sort of slowed down for a minute all around me, you know, like in the neighborhoods and this and that, just busybody everywhere, every day, just nonstop. It's just too much. So yeah, so my kids, I wrote all the letters, I arranged everything, I created a homeschooling group in the local park, and to get more parents involved, I did a lot of things in the home to create a sort of artful space of where we can express ourselves. And the plan was to nurture the children's gifts and let them explore that and explore nature. And I was so excited about it. Like I was like, this is what I'm here to do as well. You know, like I've got to teach my children what I know about the universe so far, you know, and how I've mastered myself to a certain point. And then what happened was my granddad, he had a stroke and he fell out of bed, and he was caring for my grandmother. My grandmother couldn't care for herself. So it was my duty, because there was no one else in the family that could do it, to move in with her. And me and the kids shared beds. I literally was working from 5 a.m. till late at night, taking care of my nan, you know. And it was a lot. And I was trying to homeschool the kids and make it work, and learning about crypto and like everything, you know, with all the changes, like trying to get it all in and do my practices and go down to the hospital to take my granddad little notes like, Granddad, you've got this, you know, please, please, please keep your mind positive and all of this, because I couldn't visit him, you know. But now, like, I really, really wish that I would have just gone in there and been like, hi there, I am doctor. No, not pretend to be a doctor, but, you know, just go in there and speak to my granddad and just be there for him, because he was deaf as well. And they wore masks and everything. And, you know, he was in there for 3 months and he didn't come out. So he managed to get on a video call, and like I say, could hardly hear anything. You know, I had to shout, hiya, Granddad, you're right. You know, whenever I seen him, it was always a very loud conversation. So yeah, he didn't come home, and he was on a video call, and he said, will you look after your nan for me, and I love you, you know, and it was really beautiful. But we didn't know that was the last time that we'd see him, you know. And then, yeah, we got informed that he wasn't going to be coming home. And so me and the kids came home after we eventually arranged for some care put in place for my grandmother, because it was too much for me, really. She was calling at 4 a.m. in the morning a lot and falling over and stuff, and it was really bad. And I did try, because we really didn't want a carer or, you know, a home being involved. I tried as much as I could to make it work, but it was too much. So anyway, came home after that, felt really depleted. The kids were just, at that point, the kids were like, Mum, can we go to school? You know, they were just like, we really want to make friends with people. And so I was like, oh my gosh, you know. And then what happened was I felt like I couldn't snap out of this like dark, low energy. It was really horrible. So I was like, right, I'm going to take myself for a walk now. So I walked outside and slipped in the car park and broke my ankle. And it went like I could hear it. It broke twice. And I was on the floor on the ice on my own, like, help. And so this neighbor came and helped me. And then my dad came. He took me to the hospital, and they was like, I'm really sorry, but it's one of the worst breaks. You've broke it in 2 places. You're going to need surgery. So I was like, okay, really didn't want to hear that, but here we go. And so what happened was I came back home pre-surgery, and I was just meditating and doing my Ganesh mantra, because Lord Ganesh is, you know, connected to the root chakra. So I was really wanting to ground my energy and just to connect with that, you know, see what came through and connect with that energy. And when I went in for my surgery, I had a doctor called Dr. Ganesh. And I actually prayed that I didn't get the anesthetic. I really didn't want that, you know. And he said, don't worry, you're not going to have that. You're going to have, I had what's called a spinal block, which pretty scary. It's not really the nicest experience. It goes in your spinal cord, and they essentially numb you from the waist down. And I was awake throughout the whole procedure. I was talking to Dr. Ganesh while he was cutting my ankle open, all sorts of stuff. Anyway, the pain after that was so excruciating, you know, waking up to that and having this pot on. It was very intense. It felt like the pot was like digging into my leg. So I came home after that, and my children, they wanted to go to school. So I was like, you know what? They're on their own journey. I had to find a way of being able to accept this, because I felt like, how can I do this? You know, I felt like this is what's happening right now. So I'm going to let them do that. If that's what they really want to do, I'm going to let them go and do it. So they did. And, you know, they were enjoying it. They were enjoying where they went. And having friends, really, I think that's the thing for them. They just love the people that they met and that. And as I was at home on the sofa, I was meditating a lot. I was living out of, like, I was ordering boxes of fruit from this place, and I was just eating the fruits. And I received this massive download to write a book, everything that I know, to write a book for the children and put that into there. And so I'd already been doing it, really, but I didn't realize. So it's been 8 years since I began channeling, and then it's been 4 years since I began putting it into a book. So here we are, and my son's actually left school now. He's already done that. And you know, he's thriving, and he's absolutely incredible. But you know, obviously this book is now for not only my children, but for the children of the creator because the Creator speaks through me. And this is, it's just been a beautiful journey of interpreting everything of significance when it comes to learning who we are, numerologically, energetically, vibrationally, you know, and being able to, because we are energy. That makes sense to me. It's like, well, you know, this is great. So yeah, so that's where I'm up to now, and it's come to the point where it's finally being published, and I've sort of held back from sharing so much, you know, over the past few years because of the sacredness of it, and just, I have shared that I am releasing a book, I am writing a book, but I haven't shared much of the contents because, you know, it's just been important for me to ensure it's all there and put in the book, and yeah, ready for people. So would you like to ask me any questions, Derek?
Yeah, sure. And yeah, I'm excited about the book. I was honored that you hit me up to make a little visual promo for it. And
Yes.
yeah, looking forward to it. And it's such a beautiful story and purpose as to why you wanted to create something. And yeah, what you mentioned before is, you know, trying to purify our own bodily vessel and be
Yeah.
that pure instrument of creation, the creator, and all these things, and then be able to have that direct divine connection more
Mhm.
fluidly, consistently, and clearly, and without all these distortions, as you said, like as above, so below, with a lot of correspondence. If our body and mind is all distorted, what do you expect, you know, with anything else that we're going to be in contact with, right? So yeah, it's a
Exactly.
lovely thing. And just, yeah, also thinking about how that connects with us being, you know, as you said, like this sound, song, frequency, vibration, signature soul in this bodily form, right? And how are we singing our songs, right? Is it in accordance to, are we striking the right chord with our vocal cords and all, you know what I mean? So yeah, can people even afford the free time to fine tune their instruments and all that? You know, they
Are their organs clear? Are their organs finely tuned? You know,
Ooh,
because it's go into the organs. I mean, that's what I go into in this book as well, about the power of detoxification, and also, you know, fruits and our organs, and how our organs are our filters and they are our lenses as well, you know. And so that's, again, it goes back to the detoxification, and how when we truly do purify those, we can see clearly with our consciousness, and then we can create more of what it is that we're here to create within creation that is already, it already is. So it's in the book I speak about all of the cosmic laws of nature and how we are that, and how they are always communicating to us, through everything, you know. And they want to, like, how everything interconnects. So it's very interesting the way in which it comes out as well. It's not like any other book that I've read. So that's been a lot of why it's sort of taken me such time, if you will, to come to this point, because I've been like in and out of questioning and like wondering, is this how it should be? Is it in the right order? And then to sort of eventually let go. But to let go of what? To let go of maybe excess waste that was in me, again, because we're infinite, right, in every sense of the word. So we can literally infinitely purify, and we've always got more. We have access to more of who we are, so it becomes clear every time. And I always think, if ever you're unsure about something, always go back to what isn't pure? Is there anything that requires purification with him? You know, and we can always just allow that to then give us the clarity that we need, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. And kind of thinking about in alchemical terms and the whole process, you know, like if we were born in such a pure vessel and remain that way, then it wouldn't really be much of a need for this alchemical process because it's already refined and all that. And the distillation and coagulation is already there. Yet we go through things in this matrix, well, all these overlays and conditioning, programming, and the whole nine, right? So yeah, we have to constantly go through these processes, and obviously with the shadow work, inner work involved, and so much physical, mental, spiritual detoxing. Ooh la la! It can sound daunting and stuff, but yeah, I love hearing what you have to say about your journey and everything, and how we have these ineffable experiences, and we kind of have to make sense of these things that, you know, who's had this, who talks about it in mainstream or lamestream academia even, or whatever, right? So who do we learn from? And that's great you had some kind of mentors along the way and all that stuff. So yeah, that's word up, yo.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, I think it can seem daunting to some people, but then it only seems daunting when we have a sort of unclear perception, you know. And I feel like, I wanted to share an excerpt with you, actually, if that's okay, as well. One of the pages in the book. And I also speak about my music history, how, you know, musically, what's sort of, I mean, from the womb, my mum was in prison with me when she was pregnant. So I've actually been in prison, but in the womb, which I think is quite interesting. So my dad, he's been an absolute music connoisseur, like throughout all my journey. He's taught me about the origins of house music, and house music is really soulful. It's got so much soul in the house music, man, you know, and it originates from like disco and funk and, you know, like the grooves and just the meaningful lyrics, you know, throughout all of those genres have just always been a part of my journey from being in the womb, like I say. So yeah, it's my dad's a big influence on my journey. I mean, when I was a kid, because I lived with him till I was about 8, and he brought me up from being a baby. He was only like 18 when he had me. Yeah, your sound's gone off, Derek, by the way. I can't hear you.
Oh yeah, it's normal. I muted my microphone, so yeah, I was just like, wow.
Okay, yeah. So my dad, he had a bit of a challenging time because he was so young. But the decks were always there. You know, he had Technics decks. So they've always been a part of my experience, normal to me, you know. And a piano when I was a kid. I mean, I was so bad at maths as well, believe this or not, like some, you know, numerology right now, but I was so bad at maths as a kid. My dad used to pay for a maths tutor to come to the house, which is interesting, isn't it? It just shows you like the different types of the math in school. But yeah, so music, and he when I was a kid, he bought me a bunch of CDs because he's a joiner as well, my dad. And he built me a wooden desk, and he got me a Yamaha keyboard, a sound system, and he bought me a big pile of CDs. I think it was for like my 10th birthday or something. And in that pile was like absolute like Marvin Gaye album, a real eclectic combination of significant, you know, musical geniuses throughout history, you know. And even like one of them was Ibiza, the story so far. So like all the original Ibiza dance tracks. And then you had like New York and Soul, Masters at Work, you know, Green Day, just a real mix, a mix and blend, shall we say, of, you know, different sounds. And he said, you know, I sort of went towards my own. I used to fall asleep listening to Marvin Gaye as a kid on my little mini disc Walkman, you know, and Stevie Wonder, Dionne Warwick, Whitney Houston's auntie. But I remember when I was about 12, my dad moved to Brighton and I moved in with my grandparents. And I would go visit him sometimes, and he had the decks set up, and he would have like Masters at Work and John Cutler playing. And I just fell in love with Masters at Work so much. And they have a song called To Be in Love. And he still got the original version on vinyl. And it's got a beautiful painting of India, the singer, on. It's got her head and her long black hair. So from that note, I would like to share with you a page from my book, which is about love. Because this is so important. You know, I feel like every choice that we make, this is what helps us grow when we choose love. And I go on about this a lot on social media for those that notice, because I know that when I choose love, when I've suffered with addictions and feeding the old self that doesn't serve me, that doesn't align with my highest nature, if I choose love every time, I'm evolving, I'm, you know, raising my frequency, and I'm in that dance then with the laws, the Lord, you know, the Most High. And this is a beautiful thing. So I'll share with you. So here it goes. Let us get to work on love, the key required to succeed in this journey we here call life. To learn of yourself is an act of love. All that you are is love. So therefore, all that is required from you is that in everything that you are, and this shall assist you in fulfilling your greatest life as love also. If all is a reflection of you, and you choose to practice acts of love by learning yourself, then you shall receive reflections in your experience to assist that. All the people, places, images, numbers, animals, everything is guidance. So it is guiding our direction. Shh, quieten your mind and tune into that loud silence. Open yourself up to more guidance. Clear the noise required for you to be in a state of receivership whilst maneuvering on the great mothership. She's in on it too. Assisting in the greatest creation of the greatest you. This in itself is a key, G-O-D, guiding our direction. So that's one of the pages from the Cosmic Curriculum.
That was great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like the free flowing and everything. Even had a little rhyme up in there, and yeah.
Yeah, I think it's amazing how everything, when you are aligned, you know, when you're in that creative space, it just happens so naturally because everything is rhythmic naturally, you know. The natural rhythm, the rhythmic groove, you know, what it is that we choose, and it just flows like music. So
Yeah, I'm down with that cosmic groove, yo. Synchroniciously, you know.
yeah, definitely. There it is.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's great. I love how you're expressing so much and yeah, just putting yourself out there, putting the messages out there. And for those that don't know, you have a really cool YouTube channel where, yeah, you're just getting those free flow downloads, for lack of a better term, or just whatever, just, you know, like you got those aha moments, and you just want to share with the world and things like that, and just things that have been on your mind for years possibly, but you were in the mood and had some cool articulation to just, hey, here we are, this is what it is.
Yeah, I do share on it when I can. I don't share on it that much, but I aim to do so. I do aim to, now that I feel like this is such a pivotal moment for me, because like I say, I've held back a lot, and it's just out of respect for the book, really, and just having that as a blueprint, and it's there, and then I can share more of what's in there as well, so that we can, moving forwards, and just interpret it, because I feel like perhaps some people, when they read the book, they might need me to express to them how they can really apply, and things like that. So it's
wow, that's honorable. Yeah,
your uniqueness, as well, like because that's always been a massive thing to me, because obviously I learn of mine, and I had this great passion for my children to learn of theirs, and then obviously expanding from that to all the children and all of us, to learn of our psychic energy, which is, that is our uniqueness as well. And when we learn that, we realize how it's interconnected with the laws as well, the laws of nature and the chakras, and how we can really work with others, and just the meaning behind it all, to a certain degree anyway.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, looking forward to checking out your book, and I think it can help out quite a few, many others, not just like homeschooling, but kind of reschooling and tooling themselves and getting the proper keys or tools, right, for unlocking those, doors that have kind of been blocked and conditioned for us to not really peek through the wood curtain, or open up, take a peek through the door or whatever, and crack it open, see what's behind, and you're here to, like, yeah, I love your vibe and essence. Like, it's not that scary, guys. Come on, like, this is the energy you want to be in, to be more empowered and be more of your true authentic self, right? Yeah, there
we go. It's like, I just, for this to be taught in schools as well, just like the power of the mind, everything that makes up what we are, and how to really navigate. But also, you've got free will. It's just, yeah, it would be amazing to be able to teach in schools, to do a workshop in schools, and just to share about the power of the mind and the laws of nature. Like, that's just been something that's been on my heart for so long. So workshops are definitely on the horizon. And, whether it's in schools or community centres or a new school, whatever, just any place that, is people are willing to listen and grow from. So, yeah.
Magnifique. Awesome. Yeah. And yeah, some of the things you're talking about of just spontaneous conscious trains of thought that they're always there, and it's like we're kind of pulling from the ethers, or being more connected to our higher self that's connected to the isness and all these things. And kind of reminds me of, yeah, just when you're saying, like, just being able to free flow lyrics just because they come naturally with the rhythms of life and all this stuff. Had a really great interview with one of my favorite MCs, Azim, and like, we kind of riffed off this because it just makes sense of what you're talking about as well. And he had this line of just like, I didn't have to write these lyrics down. They occurred to me in the eternity, and just kind of going off of that. And it's just like, fuck yeah,
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
cool. I love it. It's our nature, isn't it? You know, just to be music. We are that. And that's why, yeah, there's just so much for me to share, but I feel like the music is communication, and life itself is as well, you know, like life is the numerology of life is 5, right? So 5 is the elements. It's the elements are always communicating, aren't they? You know, and it's what makes up who we are. And so it's the communicative dance. And what is the 5th law? It's rhythm, isn't it? Yeah.
Bam.
So rhythm is, there we go. So it always just makes sense when we go back to the laws, whatever it is that we talk about in resonance with nature, the truth, who we are. It's really crazy because it just makes sense of and always goes back to the laws again. So I just love it, and I can't wait to share it with everybody. So yeah.
Wow, yeah, and just I love the expression, like, yeah, the rhythm of life, you know, and just the correspondence of that with the numerology and the 5th law, like, wow, you know, that's amazing. And I have to let people know that I sound sampled a couple snippets from you in one of my more recent mixes from last year titled Alchemical Elementals. And just you kind of talking about how we are elemental beings and all this stuff, and how we are made up, and obviously human being the quintessential and all that stuff. But, you know, all these other aspects that were that are integrated within us as well. And just, yeah, it's great.
So yeah, definitely. I love that so much, and thank you for sharing that and putting me on there. I love your work, and it's just wow, amazing. The way in which you put things together is, and then going back to consciousness, yeah, and awaken your mind. Remember, it's 13. You're setting the foundations. It's the original vibrations that are creating communicative situations, right? So right, left, in, out, up, down, round and round. But the elemental practices as well, that's something that I really get into as well in there, you know, the importance of the elemental practices and honoring them, and that we are stars, and what I mean by that, and how our culture as one, because cult not being cult, you know, not being a cult, but a culture. So I'm going to wait until, you know, you guys can read it, or I might just share it, like probably going to share when it's released on the 16th, probably in the build up to then. I'm going to be sharing some excerpts on my social medias and things like that, and get into it a bit more. But yeah, there's a lot. It's a lot. And I was laughing to myself before this, trying to sort of prepare in a way, but then I was just laughing, like, it's you can't really define the infinite. You can't really. I've tried. I've sort not tried, but I've tried to make to express certain things, but it's just what I know of the infinite thus far that's come through me so far, and I just think it's going to be eternal, because this is volume 1, and there's going to be volume 2, and on, you know, as many as I can, as I am evolving in life. So, you know, because we don't stop, do we? Like, I always remember when I spoke to Maria, which is quite a while ago now, but she said to me, it never ends, Harriet. It never does, you know, and that there is just like, you're so right, Maria, you know, and every time I'm in that space where it's like continuum of the infinite that's just pouring through. It makes me giggle when I think about that, when Maria said that to me, and it's so true. So what I've learned as well is I've learned so much in how to truly navigate, when we do like jobs and we do different jobs, and like the jobs, when we accept that everything's teaching us, everything is us, and the jobs might not be the ultimate job and why we're here, but they serve why we're here. We can really just shift ourselves into that knowing, but we have to put as much energy, like, because I've done children's entertainment for the past year, and the energy and the time that I've put into that and the training and everything, that's for someone else's empire ultimately, even though I've grown a lot and I've experienced a lot more confidence performing, and I've really realized how we should put so much energy into our dreams, soul's work, as much as we do for when we really think that we have to put all this effort into these jobs and training for these jobs and studying or whatever it is, for this degree or whatever. We literally are the degrees. We are the universe itself. So being in these jobs is just really, it can teach you so much. And we must, I just have to emphasize the importance of putting so much energy into our not your side hustle, but your passion. I don't know do you know where I'm coming from, Derek?
Yeah, totally. And just gaining all these little life experiences, it really enriches one's overall worldview and skill sets and all this stuff, and it's cultivating their own personality, their own culture, right? And that's kind of what I had in mind when you were talking about how we're not a cult. We're trying to cultivate something that's beneficial within the culture, that's going to be moving towards just a proper way of life without being malignant to the laws of the universe, natural law and shit.
Yeah, I mean, when you're doing something and if it doesn't feel right, certain jobs do feel right, but yet they don't feel like your soul's purpose, but they are, if they feel right at the time, because everything's cyclical, right? You have to trust and know and take everything from it to support you in your highest, offering, your highest mission, your highest purpose. That's what I've learned anyway. Because my children's entertainment that I've been doing, that's coming to an end now. I've got one more. I've got a pirate party to do tomorrow, and then a festival to do next week. And then that's that journey, and it's been a beautiful journey. But when something comes to an end, and the transitions that you make, and the building that you've been doing behind the scenes, and now I realize it's taken me years to realize that the energy I put into everything else, it's obviously linked to the programming and the way that society is put together, and or not, and how we should really put the energy into our gifts and the what we think is our dreams. It's so backwards, isn't it? Like inside out, back to front, upside down. That's why I always say that, because we've really got to figure it out through trials and tribulations at times. So
yeah, we got about like 20 30 minutes more or less.
Okay.
Like 20 actually, but wanted to shift to and get to know more about you and your music and how you came about that, and also growing up in the UK. I mean, the music scene was insane, since like the 70s, 80s. '90s and all that, and with all types of genres, right? It seems like y'all owned the '80s or something like that to a good degree, and whatnot. But
Wow. So yeah, see, I was born in the 80s.
me too.
I was born in 1988.
Oh, word.
And I, growing up, I absolutely loved hip hop, 90s hip hop, R&B, again, soulful music, but it was always infused with disco and funk, and even like the Doors. I think when I was 16, I had like an obsession with the Doors and Jim Morrison. Like all my friends were like, "Who the fuck is that?" And I'm just like, "This is Jim Morrison," and I thought it was alive, and just going through this obsession with him and his journey. And I think what it was the attraction to the mysteries of the universe through him, that he sort of portrayed, and the way in which he went about his life, So, but yeah, for me, mostly house music from there, like in my early 20s. And then from there, it's been a combination of disco and house. And I've always been so inspired just by soulful singers, really. Jocelyn Brown, she's a very big inspiration of mine musically. And also gospel music. I just love the spirit through song, and just to feel it. And that's always been something that I've done. I've always sang from being in primary school. I remember in the dinner queue at school, I'd be singing Donna Summer. And again, my friends didn't know who it was, but they used to laugh at me and love it. Do you know what I mean? I used to sing so soulfully in this queue, waiting for my dinner. Like Hot Stuff. Remember that one? Donna Summer Hot Stuff, when I was like in primary school. What the hell? I remember in primary school as well, me and my friends, we created a band, but it was like a rap hip hop band. We loved the Fugees at the time. The Fugees were a big inspiration. My dad got me Lauryn Hill, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, when I was a kid, and I was listening to that a lot. And it was just really, what a fantastic album that is, man. It's just wonderful, isn't it? You're in the school with them, in the in-between bits where the class is in session. And I just remember feeling so inspired by that. And yeah, what else? In high school, again, me and my mates, one of my friends, Omar, he used to tap on the table making the beat. I would be doing the soulful singing, and then I'd have two other girlfriends, they would be doing the backing singing, and this was it like in science and stuff. But the teachers were actually cool because they actually enjoyed listening to us. And so I remember that. Yeah. And yeah, it's just always been who I am. I've always soulfully expressed myself. And I think when I was probably like 21, that's when it started just getting more, when I was getting to know myself more, I'd just easily rhyme songs and make songs rhyme, should I say, words that would just merge together or just make sense of life in that moment. So Earth Angels, so that track there, I was still friends with a group of people that got me in touch with this guy who was an absolutely amazing producer, like garage vibes. Because to be honest, I was well into garage as well, majorly UK garage. and his sound was like that, you know. So I met up with this guy, and I think he put together the beat, and I wrote Earth Angels in my kitchen when I started channeling. That's when it started coming together for me. And so I met this guy, we went to his house, we started recording, and we were putting it together. But unfortunately, the guy, he was occupied with other things in his life, and so it didn't really work out. It didn't get completed, the project, right? But I had the music. He completed the music, but it was just actually recording it all. So I performed at Illuminate Festival, which is like a conscious family festival. And that was like my first live performance, really. I performed it there with his music on in the background. And I was so nervous, like cripplingly nervous. But nobody noticed. No one noticed, apparently. And so in that crowd that day, there was this producer called Costello, and he's like a underground house music DJ producer in Manchester, based in Manchester. And he was like, that was really good. He says, do you want to work together? And I was like, thank you so much. Yeah, let's, we exchanged details, and it went from there. So he created some tracks, and he created some music, and then I went to Manchester, we recorded Earth Angels, and we did the video and everything. And it was great because he was very on it, when it came to creating, like no messing about, get the job done. And then I performed at more of the Illuminate festivals as well. And then I think after that, that all that happened with my granddad and everything. So life was just taking me on a different direction, really. And that's why, I've sort of not really done much more music. I've got a track called God's Spell, which I am going to perform at the SoundPath To Freedom Festival. And now I'm connected with, fast forward to now, I've got the space now, which is amazing. And I've experienced what I've experienced, and my book is now coming out to the world. So, and I have been writing. And I'm always singing every day, even though I don't record it and share it online. I'm still doing it in real life, especially in the car. When I'm driving along, I always get, because I'm listening to different instrumentals then, you see, when I'm out and about. And when I'm in nature as well, nature inspires me so much, like especially the birds, and I'm so in love with them. The blackbirds specifically lately, the different, the blackbirds must be the original sounds that certain DJs and wherever they get their inspiration from. I'm sure it must be blackbirds. So yeah, they inspire me a lot. And I have been connected with some amazing producers. One specifically, he is called Driem, and he is based in Australia. And I'm going to be doing my SoundPath To Freedom performance from a studio, which is based in Leeds. And I'm also going to be working on some new music to share on the event as well. So, yes. And it's going to be very different to what anybody's sort of, from that housey vibe. And, it's more of a sort of ancient future, ethnic, universal, actually. It's like a meditative, soulful sound. And just Driem's sound, the way he produces music is so unique. When I start a new cycle, a new sound produces itself to me. And it's like, because then we've actually cultivated a new sound ourselves, as life is transforming. And it's really interesting because it takes a specific type of music to stimulate me, you know, for me to really feel like, ooh, you know. And this dream, yeah, his music started playing, and I was like, wow, I was locked in, you know. I was like, who is this guy? I've never heard anything like this. And so we've connected, and he's like, Harriet, I'm looking for new people right now. I'm going to send you some music. So that's what he's done. And I've got a studio that I can get to in Leeds, which I am aiming to do that over this next week. And yeah, we're going to create something totally new and get it out there. So.
Wow. That's great news. I'm really happy for you.
I'm excited. I'm so grateful and excited for this moment. It's not nice holding back, you know, when you've got so much to share. And it's not that I'm gatekeeping, because obviously I am sharing it, but it's just having the patience and the, you know, the respect of just waiting for the right time, if it, as it were, or waiting. I don't even know if you would say waiting, just because I don't know, but you know what I mean. I'm sure everybody gets what I mean.
Yeah, totally. And it's just having that proper respect for the process and how these things can't be rushed. And
Thank you. Yeah, the process. Should we see what process is? Where there? Where did I put my
yeah, just coming into knowing oneself, even, you know, the process of being a proper musician as well, and all these things. And yeah, it's just,
yeah, because life's got
time.
to life, hasn't it? You know, and life is our biggest inspiration. It is the communication. So that part of being cyclical, and just respecting that, it's respecting nature, isn't it? Same thing.
Yeah, and when you're talking about cyclical, I'm also thinking about like octaves, and aren't they kind of like cyclical and all that, and how it correlates with music and to a degree?
Yeah,
Rhythm of
do.
life video, yeah.
Yep. Everything within, you know, music, everything that you describe as music, even academically, you know, it can be interpreted in a way that is, it's all describing the energy and the meanings of the all of life. So I just love that so much. So process. Just give me a minute, and I'm just going to tell you about process some more. So 7.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I love hearing what you have to say, and yeah, just you're coming into gnosis, and I like the way you spell it and all that stuff. But yeah, it's like the profundity of one's consciousness is a reflection of their music as well. For the most part, you know, there's a lot of folks out there faking it to make it and whatnot, but whatever, we can kind of see, those with the eyes and ears to see and hear know the real McCoy from the decoy or whatever, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have, when it comes to music, I don't have a, oh, I want to be famous. You know, like I just share. I'm just sharing my soul, and I know that it's going to help someone that sees it. It's going to uplift somebody or inspire somebody or soothe somebody. You know what I mean? It's like it's just inspire and uplift, essentially. That's why I share. I can't not share. Hello, Erin. So process is, add 6. Let's see. So process is 5. And what is 5? We've spoke about this. It's the same as life. It's the star, right? So if you look at the Leonardo da Vinci Vitruvian Man, I always see that, you know, like that star. It looks like a star to me. And that is what we are. So again, process is that. That is so beautiful. See, process
Wow.
is the communication as well. It's the rhythm. And it's the fifth law. Wow.
Wow.
And
Good
how
call.
the ebb and flow of everything,
Mm.
isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And what you mentioned with the Da Vinci, you know, the human being and that classic drawing, I overlaid like a classic star quintessential elements and stuff overlaid over that, and it works out perfectly. It's beautiful.
Divine perfection. Yeah, it really is. Um,
Oh yeah.
it just amazes me, you know, how when we calculate everything, when I calculate what I calculate with numbers and how it's like it makes sense always, you know. So it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, Harry.
So culture. One more for you before we finish today,
Ooh,
Derek.
yeah.
So culture, I write about because I believe that we are a star culture, right? So culture is the word culture is 10. It's one, right? So one is, you know, it's the sun. It's unity. So this is for me, this is how I interpret things, how things make sense to me. And I don't see the word culture as a cult or anything negative, because I've now trained my mind, my consciousness to, you know, not see anything as bad. That's where I'm at now. I don't, nothing is bad. It's all alchemy at the end of the day. And the word culture is that of the sun, and we are stars, you know, universally as one. You know, and now in true nature, when we believe in ourselves, have faith in ourselves, which is our energy, source energy, life force. What do we believe about that? You know, so I get deeper into that as well. So yeah, that's something else to be looking forward to in there.
That's great. And for those looking to get deeper into your music, you're on Spotify, Bandcamp, YouTube, Instagram as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'll drop those links in the show notes. But yeah, please, anything else you'd like to share, declare, and anywhere else that folks can go to check out your music and your other lovely works.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I have a tap link as well, which you told me about. So thank you, Derek, for
Good
that.
word. Yeah, those are better. Yeah. Cheers.
On the tap link, I've got most of my, you know, where you can contact me on there and sort of see what I'm sharing as well. So yeah, I do take a step back from social media, like probably once every 2 weeks. That's me. My mind needs that, you know, I need to come back to nature completely, as amazing as it is. But I don't come off of it completely. So for anyone that's, you know, looking for me, you can't find me, I will be back on there soon. So yeah.
Yeah, those digital detoxes are quite necessary.
Definitely.
So,
They are.
yeah, Harry. Well, yeah, it's been lovely chatting with you as always. This isn't the first time we've collaborated. You can check out on my channel. We did really good video talking about detoxing and so many benefits from that as well. To really be on that high vibe and clear out that vessel, be your proper instrument to fine tuning towards, you know, the truth, that frequency that we all need to be on, right? So
Instrument, see?
Instrumental.
Yep, we are the instrument of God. So how can we play the song? You know, how can the instrument play the music? There we go. So it's just that eternal interpretation always available.
Yeah, and ironically, we might be saying it like a broken record, you know. Like
But that's important, though.
yeah.
It is important to repeat things, right? So that it does stick eventually.
Yeah. Well, Harriet, we'll keep on repeating what's good with the good old SoundPath To Freedom. Holy smokes, I didn't even post this up because I had your title card I've been working on for everyone. And yeah, looking forward to showcasing your music amongst so many other great artists and everything. So please, anyone tuning in, save the dates starting the 29th of August to get things started. But then the weekend is really like the thick of things. So stay tuned for that. Harriet, it was an honor and pleasure being with you. So yeah, much love, respects, and take care out there.
Thank you. Thanks, Derek. I appreciate you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks. You too.
Yeah.
Happy Saturday. Huh?
Thank you.
Ciao.
Bye.
You gotta decide. Oh, you gotta decide who you want to be. 'Cause you know you got an opportunity to be free. You gotta take a leap of faith. You gotta take a leap of faith. Don't worry about what others say.